Hello everyone, I've got another video to follow up that 5x5x3. This time this is a 6x6x3, so something a little bit different. I know that previously I had made a couple types of bricks. I think I went 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, but now I'm going and experimenting with floppies, so I decided to start with the 6x6x3 and soon the 7x7x4. This is made from MFJS Meilong 6x6 and 3 plastic extensions. And basically what it really is I took 6x6, turned it into a 6x6x4, and then hid away the middle layer. So this layer here is actually comprised of the two middle layers of a 6x6x4, and these two layers are stepped half a step downward to cover up, since this is actually made of two layers fused together. And I think I explained more about how I did that back in my brick videos, and those are still live. But the concept is exactly the same. So this puzzle is quite large just because I needed to maintain proportionality. And to show that off, I actually have that 5x5x3 that I just filmed a video with. And we can see that it's not much taller, but it is, in my opinion, a lot wider and longer. Well, actually, it's not that much. I guess I'm exaggerating, but it does feel substantially large. Here's a 3x3. Again, height, not a substantial difference. It's really the length. This is a full, like, you could say 2 cubies wider than the 3x3. And here's the base puzzle that it was made of. Here's an MFJS Meilong 6x6 version 2. You can see the height is practically the same. There is a little bit of height extension needed for that proportionality. And then in terms of length and width, it is quite a bit larger. I forget exactly how much it's extended by, but extended by a lot. Let's go ahead and do a checkerboard pattern. These are just standard stickers, nothing special. I haven't quite figured out how to do like a full checkerboard on these types of puzzles, where it's even odd. But this is the closest I can get. Yeah, stickers look good. They're just standard. Nothing special. So the puzzle does turn quite well. It does feel a little bit, I think the word I'm looking for here is clunky, just because the extensions are so large. But even with that said, it still turns fairly well, fairly decently. Here's some corner cutting, just because why not? And then it'll still cut through multiple layers and whatnot. And then, of course, there's limited to no reverse. I'm going to say none. I don't think that counts. It does turn quite well, though. This is post-process, so it does sound pretty similar to an unmodified 6x6, though since the extensions are so large, you can't hear them swoosh a bit. And it is made from a circular cube, so mid-turn you will see that. In mid-turn you also see a little bit of how this was done with these extending half a step downward over the previous layer. And since this is a 6x6x3, it actually doesn't shapeshift, unlike the 6x6x4, which does. So if I turn the 3 side onto the 6 side, we can turn a little bit, but just because of how the mechanism was constructed, but we're not going to be able to complete a full turn, so this doesn't really count as shape-shifting, since you can't make any subsequent moves. The only thing you can do is keep this entirely shape preserved, which is a little bit of a downgrade, you could say, from the floppy, but there are folks who want to complete the entire collection, and that includes puzzles like this. So like I said, since this has been created, a 7x7x4, 8x8x5, 9x9x6 are all as equally easy to create. To really show off how this turns, why not go ahead and do a full scramble? With shape-shifting floppies, this would be the first step, scrambling it in a way that preserves the shape. However, with this puzzle, that is the furthest extent of the scramble. There is no step 2 in this case. And I have solved this once before. There are no interesting parodies. There's no floppy parody, no brick parody. That can't really happen since there's no shape-shifting. Well, I shouldn't say that's not the reason, I don't actually know the reason, but I did not experience that. And the solve is fairly easy. Really, I'm just trying to show off how the puzzle turns, how well it turns, and how it handles misalignments. And you know, I just realized I did not show off some algorithms, so now that it's scrambled, why don't I go ahead and do that? So let's start with final layer setup algorithm, which algorithms are a little bit harder to do on this puzzle, just because the puzzle is so much larger. It's hard for me to get my hands around. And these layers kind of just fly, which might not necessarily be a great thing. Let's do the adjacent edge swap. So that swapped those edges, and then if we want to do the opposite swap, that's even easier. Can't do a T-perm here since I can't make a mid-turn like this. It's not going to go through, but I think that gives a good idea of how the puzzle turns. I think with that, I can call it there. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video whenever I decide to make one. So, see you then.